A billionaire who trusted only silence met a woman who spoke the truth without fear. And in one quiet office, everything he built began to crack. He thought power meant standing alone, but when she walked into his world, he learned that the greatest risk was not losing his empire, it was losing himself. This is not a love story that moves fast. It is a slow fall into truth, pain, and a choice that could destroy or save them both. Adrian Wolfe sat alone in his office at the top floor of Wolfe Global Holdings. The glass walls showed Ravenport City below him, busy and loud, yet far away from his quiet room. He liked it this way. Silence made him feel in control. Papers covered his desk, reports about the Northcrest merger, numbers that refused to settle. He had checked them many times, but something still felt wrong. His phone rang. The sound cut through the silence and made his shoulders tighten. Adrian hated surprises. He picked up the phone and glanced at the screen. The name made his jaw harden. Elena Brooks. He did not answer right away. He stared at the name as if it were a problem he could solve by force. He had already told the board he did not want an outsider leading strategy. They ignored him. That alone angered him. But this call felt different. He answered. "Mr. Wolfe," a calm female voice said. "This is Elena Brooks. I will be overseeing the Northcrest merger strategy." Adrian leaned back in his chair. "I know who you are," he said coldly. "I did not approve your role." "I am aware," she replied, "but approval will not change the facts." He felt heat rise in his chest. "You should be careful how you speak to me." "I am careful," Elena said. "I am also honest." The call ended shortly after. Adrian placed the phone down slowly. His hands were steady, but something inside him was not. No one spoke to him like that. No one. 2 days later, Elena arrived. Adrian watched her enter the building from the security camera feed on his screen. She walked with calm steps, head high, not rushed, not unsure. She wore a simple dark dress, nothing flashy, nothing weak. People moved around her, yet she did not shrink. The conference room filled quickly. Executives whispered. They knew Adrian's temper. Elena walked in last and placed her folder on the table. She met Adrian's eyes without flinching. "Shall we begin?" she said. Adrian crossed his arms. "You seem confident." "I am prepared," she replied. She began to speak. Not loudly, not softly. Clearly, she explained the merger problems using simple words. She pointed out risks that had been ignored. When Adrian tried to interrupt, she continued calmly, already answering his objections. The room grew quiet. By the end, no one spoke. Adrian dismissed the meeting early. People left quickly, avoiding his eyes. Elena stayed. "You ended that too soon," she said. "I decide when meetings end," Adrian replied. "And I decide when work is done," she said evenly. Adrian stood. "You are bold." "You are afraid," she said. The word hit him harder than anger. "Leave my office." Elena did not argue. She turned and walked out. That night, Adrian stayed late. He stared at the city lights, but his mind was not on the company. It was on her words. Afraid. He hated that they felt true. He remembered past nights just like this, alone, choosing work over people, choosing silence over trust. Those choices had built his empire, but they had also emptied his life. The next days were tense. Elena challenged systems. She questioned rules. She spoke to staff like equals. People listened. Some even smiled when she entered rooms. That bothered Adrian more than it should have. Respect had always been earned through fear in his world. During one meeting, he snapped. "You enjoy pushing people. I enjoy truth," she replied. Later, she found him alone. "You are fighting yourself," she said. "I am fine," he answered. "No," she said. "You are lonely." The word followed him long after she left. Lonely. He had wealth, power, and control, yet no one to speak to when the lights went off. That truth sat heavy in his chest. One evening, she spilled coffee during a review. She looked embarrassed, human. Adrian reached out without thinking and steadied the cup. Their hands touched. Both froze. For a brief second, the world felt quiet in a way he had never known. "I am sorry," she said. "So am I," he replied quietly. That small moment stayed with him. It was simple, yet it broke something open. That night, Adrian could not sleep. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every word, every look. Control had always kept him safe. Now it felt like a cage built by his own hands. The next morning, he arrived early. Elena was already there, reading reports. "Good morning," she said. He nodded. "About yesterday." She waited. "I am not used to being challenged," he said. "I know," she replied. "That is why I am here." He walked to the window again. Below, cars moved like lines of light. He wondered how many people felt trapped inside lives they built themselves. His father's voice echoed in his mind, words about strength, about never bending. Adrian had lived by those rules for years. Now those rules felt heavy. He feared what change might take from him, but he feared even more what staying the same would cost. The space Elena left behind felt loud and empty, like a warning he could not silence. He felt pressure in his chest, not pain, but weight. For the first time, he wished someone would return. Not for business, not for duty, but simply to stay. That wish scared him more than any risk he had ever taken before, and he did not understand why yet. Chapter 1 ended with Adrian standing in his office, watching Elena walk away, realizing a truth he could no longer ignore. She was not just changing the merger, she was changing him, and he did not know whether to fight it or surrender to it alone. The days after that moment felt heavier for Adrian Wolfe. Nothing on the surface had changed. Meetings still happened. Numbers still moved. Deals still waited for his approval. Yet inside him, something had shifted. He found himself watching the door more often, listening for Elena's footsteps without knowing why. When she entered a room, his focus broke. When she left, the room felt empty. He hated this feeling. Adrian believed feelings made people weak. Feelings led to mistakes. His father had taught him that. A man must stand alone, strong and unmoved. That belief had shaped him since childhood. It was why he trusted no one fully. It was why his empire stood tall. And it was why Elena scared him. One afternoon, an internal report showed missing funds in a smaller division. It was not a large amount, but enough to raise concern. Adrian called an emergency meeting. The tension in the room was thick. Everyone expected him to explode. Elena arrived quietly and took her seat. Adrian spoke first. "Someone here is lying," he said, "and I will find out who." Fear filled the faces around the table. Elena studied the report instead of reacting. She read slowly, then looked up. "This is not theft," she said. Adrian turned to her. "Explain." "The numbers were moved, not taken," she said. "This is panic, not crime." "Panic from who?" he asked. She pointed to a junior manager at the end of the table. The man looked pale. "He was given a deadline he could not meet," Elena continued. "He moved funds to delay failure." The room stayed silent. Adrian dismissed everyone except Elena and the manager. The man confessed quickly. He was shaking. He expected to be fired. Elena spoke before Adrian could. "He needs guidance, not punishment." Adrian stared at her. "You are defending him." "I am fixing the problem," she said. Adrian paused. Then he did something no one expected. He told the manager to leave and report back later with a recovery plan. When the door closed, Elena looked at Adrian with surprise. "That was not like you," she said. "I know," he replied. Later that night, Adrian sat alone in his penthouse apartment. The space was large and silent. No photos, no warmth, just clean lines and empty rooms. He poured a drink but did not touch it. Elena's face kept appearing in his mind. Not smiling, not pleading, just honest. He thought about the staff, how they feared him, how they avoided his gaze, how Elena spoke to them like people, not tools. He wondered when he had stopped seeing people as human. The next morning, Elena requested a private meeting. Adrian agreed. She closed the door behind her. "Why did you change your decision yesterday?" she asked. "I saw myself," he said simply. She waited. "I saw fear," he continued, "and I remembered being that man." Elena nodded. "You were taught to hide it." "Yes," he said. They stood in silence for a moment. "Adrian," she said softly, "you do not have to do this alone." The words made his chest tighten. He turned away, pretending to study a file. "I always have," he replied. Days passed. Work grew harder. The merger faced public pressure. Media rumors spread. Investors demanded answers. Adrian felt control slipping. His old instincts told him to tighten his grip, to shut people out. Elena pushed back. During a heated meeting, he raised his voice. "Enough," he snapped. Elena stood. "No," she said firmly. "This is when you listen." The room froze. Adrian felt anger rise, but also fear. Not fear of losing power, but fear of losing something he had not yet named. After the meeting, he confronted her. "You challenge me in front of others." "I challenge you when you are wrong," she replied. "You will not change who I am," he said. "I am not trying to," she said. "I am trying to show you who you could be." That night, Adrian drove without a destination. The city lights blurred past him. His phone buzzed, but he ignored it. He parked near the river and sat in silence. Memories surfaced. His mother leaving, his father hardening. Promises he made to himself to never need anyone. For the first time, those promises felt like lies he told a frightened boy. The next morning, Elena did not come to work. Adrian noticed immediately. He told himself it did not matter. He told himself he was relieved. Yet hours passed, and unease grew. Meetings felt empty. Decisions felt heavier. By afternoon, he asked his assistant where Elena was. "She requested emergency leave," the assistant said. "Personal matter." Adrian nodded, hiding his concern. That night, news broke. Elena's former firm was under investigation. Her name appeared in headlines, not as a criminal, but as a witness. Rumors spread fast. Board members called Adrian, questioning her role. Adrian stared at the screen, reading lies mixed with half-truths. His first instinct was distance. Protect the company. Protect himself. But something inside him refused. The next day, Elena returned. She looked tired, but steady. Adrian called a meeting before anyone else could speak. "Elena Brooks stays," he said. "Any questions, go through me." Shock rippled through the room. Afterward, Elena approached him. "You did not have to do that," she said. "I did," he replied. "I chose to." She studied him. "That choice has a cost." "I know," he said. For the first time, he meant it. As she walked away, Adrian felt fear again. Not of loss, but of hope. Hope that she might stay. Hope that change was possible. Hope that he was not too broken to learn how to let someone stand beside him. That hope was fragile, and he sensed the storm ahead would test it harder than anything before. The pressure came fast after Adrian's public support for Elena. Investors demanded clarity. Board members whispered behind closed doors. News channels repeated her name again and again, twisting facts into doubt. Adrian felt the weight of every decision settle deeper into his chest. For years, he had ruled by distance. Now he had stepped forward, and the heat was real. Elena noticed the change in him. He slept less. He spoke slower. The sharp edge in his voice was softer, but heavier. One evening, she found him still in the office long after dark. "You should go home," she said. He gave a short laugh. "This is home." She walked closer. "That is the problem." He looked at her, tired eyes holding something close to pain. "You could walk away," he said. "This storm is not yours." "It became mine when you stood up for me," she replied. The next day, the board called an emergency vote. Elena was asked to leave the room. Adrian stayed. The door closed. Accusations flew. They questioned his judgment. They questioned his control. They questioned his loyalty to the company. Adrian listened. For once, he did not interrupt. When it was his turn, he stood. "You hired her for truth," he said. "Now you fear it." They warned him, "Protect the company or lose leadership." The words hit hard. Everything he built was at risk. He asked for one night. That night, Adrian returned to his childhood home for the first time in years. The house was quiet, old, and heavy with memory. He walked through rooms filled with silence. He stood in his father's study, staring at the desk where fear had been mistaken for strength. He understood then. Power without trust was empty. Control without connection was lonely. The next morning, Adrian walked into the boardroom calm and clear. Elena waited outside, unaware. "I will not remove her," he said. "If you vote against me, I step down." Shock filled the room. He continued, "This company needs truth more than it needs me." The vote passed, barely. When Adrian stepped outside, Elena looked up. He nodded once. "It's done," he said. She exhaled slowly. "You chose her," she said. "I chose us," he replied. Weeks passed. The merger stabilized. Elena's name was cleared publicly. The company regained trust. Adrian stepped back from daily control, learning to lead with others instead of above them. One evening, they stood on the office balcony, watching the city breathe below. "I was wrong about you," Adrian said. "So was I," Elena replied. Silence settled, but it was not heavy. It was shared. "I don't know how to do this," he said quietly. "That's fine," she answered. "Neither do I." He reached for her hand, slow, unsure. She did not pull away. For the first time, Adrian Wolfe did not stand alone. Dear viewers, thank you for joining us in this whirlwind of ambition, tension, and undeniable chemistry. Adrian and Elena's story reminds us that even the strongest walls can be softened by courage, honesty, and connection. If this story made your heart race, made you pause, or made you feel the tension between ambition and love, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button to show your support. Subscribe so you never miss another story, and turn on notifications to stay close to every heartbeat, every twist, every unforgettable moment. I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me where you're watching from, and share what this story taught you about trust, vulnerability, or daring to let someone in. Your comments inspire the next story we bring to life. Remember, love isn't just about passion, it's about honesty, courage, and the choices we make every single day. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your courage close, and your imagination alive.